call. Council at Large Boots.
Here.
At Large Spear. Absent. Ward number 1, Leeper.
Here.
Ward number 2, Anderson.
Here.
And Ward number 3, McNeil.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So to the agenda approval, there is some under J. I would just like to switch 2 and 3. So the city ambassadors would be second underneath the mayoral proclamation. Just as a timing thing. So I think, does anybody have any objection to that? All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
So moved.
Boots with the first.
Second.
And Anderson with the second.
McNeil?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear? Leeper?
Yes.
Abbott?
All right. So now the communications portion. If there's anybody who wants to address the city council, you can make your way to the podium. All right, seeing that there are none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And these can be passed with one motion. And there's the city council minutes from April 3rd, 8th, and 12th of 2017. The treasurer and investment report from 2017. A liquor license from the VFW Planning and Zoning Board minutes, and the Tipton Development report from April 2017, and the airport committee meeting minutes. Is there a motion to pass this?
So moved.
Boots with the first, and McNeil with the second.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
All right, so that has been approved. And now to the letter J, correct? I'm missing something here. Yes. So now the Arbor Day proclamation. This is to proclaim Arbor Day as April 28th, 2017. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our houses, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business and areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Brian Carney, Mayor of the City of Tipton, do hereby proclaim April 28th as 2017 as Arbor Day in the City of Tipton, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. All right, so now we go on to the city ambassador's introduction, which would be Linda Beck.
Yes.
Well, I am very pleased to introduce to you our ambassadors. We have had dinner with the mayor already. We have gone to the state capitol. They have picked out several different events that they are going to volunteer at. So I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves. And then after the meeting this evening, I would like to take a photo of the entire council and our mayor with the city ambassador. I am proud of all 3 of these young people, and they are our future. And so I'll have Michaela start out, and if she would also tell you what grade she's in, because we have middle school, high school. And again, they had to write an essay about my town, Tipton. So Michaela, you can go first.
I'm Michaela Schreimer. I'm a junior here at Tipton.
I'm Nicholas Dyker, and I'm in 6th grade. I'm Caleb Music, and I'm a freshman in high school.
And so I thank them, and they are doing a fabulous job for us. So thank you.
All right, so now it's time for the Mayor for a Day essay contest winner. Every year, the state of Iowa puts on a Mayor for a Day essay contest for 7th grade throughout the state. And this year, I chose Cody Bowman as the winner for Tipton. He'll receive a gift certificate from the chamber. And he's also here, and he'll read his essay for you. So if you wouldn't mind coming on up to the podium. Actually, we should move this out so that everybody can see you. There you go.
Okay, I'm Cody Bowman, I'm from Tipton, in 7th grade. And if I were mayor for a day, I would make a few changes. First off, I would donate money to the animal shelter to help them grow. I would also set up a program where once a month anybody who wanted to help would show up and help clean, walk, feed, and do other stuff to help the shelter. Secondly, I would help to design places for younger kids, playgrounds, splash pads, etc. I would help design and construct them, and we would take suggestions from parents of little kids of what they think would be good for their kids. The special places would be for kids only 10 and under, would have fences around them to protect from nighttime vandalism and destruction. I would also push to make walking trails through the park and the areas surrounding the park. I personally love to walk on trails and think others would enjoy the new trails around the park. Finally, I would add a few more batting cages around the city park. Our local park only has one batting cage. If I added more, people could bat at once. Batting practices would move along faster and there would be less lost baseballs and less people tired because of chasing baseballs. In conclusion, if I were mayor, I would make changes to make our town better place for everyone to live in. I would try to help it grow and thrive as a town.
Thank you. There you go. If you wouldn't mind sticking around, or do you want to?
I should write it down, if you don't mind.
All right, yeah, sure.
Sorry.
That'd be fine.
There's one marker left. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks, Cody. All right. Now to the motions for approval. The first one, we have amended job description for park grounds maintenance worker. Joel?
I have a feeling that somebody else is going to have to finish this voice sketchy today. But looking to the background memo that we prepared for you, the background of this position is that the parks maintenance position was in existence as a salaried position for over 20 years. It was occupied by the most recent employee since at least 2005. Last winter, we determined the position did not meet the criteria for a salaried exempt employee under the Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA. With that determination, we had to end the position as it had been in practice, so that we remained within the law. We considered this position in light of maintaining an attractive condition of the park, and considering the alternatives to accomplish that, we thought more broadly about maintenance of other city facilities as well. Prior to our determination to amend the job so as not to be outside the permissions of the FLSA, the person holding the position averaged 30 hours per week for the busiest 24 weeks of the 34 weeks during the year when she was maintaining the parks. She was paid $23,269 for the year and was included in the city's health care plan. The job holder's total compensation and benefits plan was $23,269 for salary, $1,780 for FICA, $2,078 for IFRS, and $7,541 for health insurance, grand total of $34,668 for the 669 hours of time logged in 2016. We considered other possibilities related to maintenance needs of the city in reviewing the replacement position, including the mowing and maintenance of the library property, various other city properties such as the lower yard, downtown green space, facility lawns and walks that require mowing, snow removal, and chemical spraying, which currently involve pulling other city staff from their regular duties to accomplish. We also considered adding additional responsibilities, including winter plowing and salting, trucking, and adding data points to the city's GIS map, the city's GPS map equipment, something that an employee of this caliber will be able to do, and cemetery map and inventory. There was an unsolicited quote for lawn services brought to our attention, mowing and spraying the Tipton Park that ran north of $23,000 and did not include cleaning and restocking of the bathroom facilities or maintenance of park and playground equipment. There is a summary breakdown of the information on the following page that my voice will not last through. And you can see for yourselves, but it's a summary of what I just described. With the moving of this position to a full-time position, we anticipate the additional cost will be offset in part by the elimination of contracting for the library mowing, which is $3,000 plus a year, and the allocation of the labor cost to the water, wastewater, electric, gas, and garbage utilities funds for this fiscal year. There's a listing of that allocation on your memo across 7 departments. We think, and we're bringing to you this because of this, that for an additional $10,000 a year will significantly increase the position's utility value and time on the job, and more completely assure competent, reliable maintenance of the city's park and other facilities. One other task I didn't include here is in those instances where utilities departments tear up turf to repair or install underground services, rather than having the utilities departments or expensive staff rework that property, this person can also take care of that duty as well. And this is a recommendation that comes from Public Works, Parks, and myself. If there's any questions, it might be more appropriately directed to either Steve or Adam. They're certainly here to answer them.
Was the Adam, was cleaning the bathrooms included in this? Did I hear that?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And after the procedural thing, we needed to take this off the table.
Yes.
So if there's a motion to take this off the table, Anderson with the first. Nobody else take it off the table? All right. So then this will stay on the table. Is that what I'm for next time?
Well, what have we, being we didn't want to add any new employees till the new city manager come, have we taken bids? Or can you take bids just to do the mowing for the season?
We have not.
But you said there was one that came.
There was a bid to do the park for around $23,000, but you haven't authorized us to go out for bids, so I'm just bringing that as easy information. But no, we didn't. In part because we were looking to capture the utility value of an employee that we already had until we discovered that we could have them as a salaried person and open position up
This
for
is also eliminating a position.
right. We've eliminated a position with the ending of the FLSA not lawful salary position. So we are down a position now.
What was not lawful about it? Just the hours versus the full benefit?
Well, there is that, but in order to be a salaried employee, you have to have a certain range of authority, which includes supervising other employees, being paid over $42,000 and some dollars per year to qualify as an exempt employee, and essentially being entirely responsible for setting your own direction, like a department would be for my position. So we're looking to take what was a oddly salaried position and turn it into a regular hourly position.
All right. So this one will remain on the table for next time, possibly. All right, moving on to the next one, which is an annual fee of $1,700 for online software training with Tyler Technologies.
I can talk
Melissa?
about it. Tyler U is just an online training course that offers online training classes to anyone with access to Encode. So it'd be very, very beneficial to everyone with Encode because it's going to help you have continuing education courses, 24/7 availability, and then you're not having to travel to the courses, which are kind of hard to get in our area. So it would help us continue to provide us with educational resources without having to go somewhere. And we have access to them for a year, 24/7.
Just so everybody knows, Encode.
Encode is the software that we use for utilities, billing, budget, everything.
How many people will this be for?
As many as
Is it-
want to.
Okay.
Deb and Cindy haven't had a lot of training, and Melissa is very little. So we thought this would be beneficial for, well, Connie and Amy as well, if they want to, learn something about something they haven't done before.
And then the manager.
And the manager.
And just to make sure you do have the money in your budget for it.
Yes.
Okay.
It just wasn't a budgeted item, so that's why we went at the council to.
Is there any other questions on this? Is there a motion to approve or deny? Or table?
Motion to approve.
Boots with the first with a motion to approve. And McNeil with the second.
Leeper, McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
All right, so that is passed. And now to number 3, which is to set a public hearing date for May 15th, 2017 to amend the 16-17 budget ending June 30th of 2017. That'd be Lorna?
It's just something we do annually to correct whatever isn't right in the budget lines, but mostly in the functions. If they're over in function, we're required by law to amend them.
All right. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve? Anderson with the first, and McNeil with the second.
Leeper,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
All right, and the fourth one, which is sponsorship for the Cedar County Fair.
Since Tim's losing his voice, I'll help here.
Thank you.
This is something we've done for the last 3 years, I believe. They're trying to promote the fair and bring in, more visitors. And so they're asking for sponsorship. And in the past, we've done the $500 of the gold level and sponsored, I think 1 year we sponsored the rodeo. I think you can choose which event you want to sponsor.
Is there any idea, does anybody want to stick with the 500 or change that, or? No?
Can I speak on it?
What?
If I'm one of the fair board?
Yeah, come on up.
So I'm happy to answer any questions. Christina Anchor, 908 Lynn Street, Vice President of the Cedar County Fair Board. We are looking to continue to have your guys' partnership of at least $500. It definitely helps out. If you guys haven't heard, we're really excited for this year because we've changed up our schedule. We are no longer offering the rodeo this year. Instead, we have brought in a concert. We had put it out on Facebook looking for requests of what the citizens were wanting in Cedar County, and the concert was what they wanted to get. We were able to book Tucker Beathard. He is an up-and-comer. He's gotten a lot bigger lately, especially within just the last few months. He's been touring with Dirk Bentley. He was on The Tonight Show, and if anybody's a Hawkeye fan, he is CJ Beathard's brother. So that was another nice little thing that we were trying to get in here, especially to get the Iowa City crowd and more people from outside the county into our county during that fair time. So I'm happy to answer any questions. We're really excited this year. We'd love to see your guys' donation increase because the more partnerships that we can get, the bigger and better we can continue to make the Cedar County Fair.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to bring in these new acts too.
Yes. And we brought in a lot of new donations this year by changing that schedule up. So that's really nice to see that there's some excitement out there.
Good, good. All right, is there a motion to approve or deny on the table? Go with the same $500 for the $500? McNeil with a first, and Leeper with the second.
McNeil?
Yes.
Booth?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Eicher. And number 5, which is the Friends of Animals 5K, I believe. There's a rep here. Yes.
Making my way over from the other side of the room. We are hoping to hold a 5K and 1 mile fun run on Saturday, September 16th to help raise money for Friends of the Animals. They're always needing funding and want to be able to support their mission here in town. I've gone over the routes for the races for the 5K and for the 1 mile with Chief Kepford to look over any safety or traffic concerns, and she has approved those routes. We are starting and ending at the Methodist Church. We'll probably go from a total of 7 a.m. until noon. We're going to encourage participants to bring their dogs with them if they want to run with the dog, their pets, barring any safety issues, of course. Also hoping to have a pancake breakfast, face painting, and some pictures with family pets or something along those lines. So, because we're going to be out in the community and there will be a lot of visibility, we wanted to make sure to get to ask for approval. So, and I do have race routes mapped out if anyone wants to look at them.
Yeah, they're in our packet too.
Oh, they are? Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Any questions about that or any concerns?
All right, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Boots with the first,
Second.
and Anderson with the second.
Booth?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Excellent.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. We'll be seeing more about this very soon.
All right, good, thanks. And down to number 6, the final one for the motions for approval, which is the claims list. Is there anything that needs to be pulled out and discussed?
I just want to have one question on this census. There were a couple of Carhartt hoodies for $362. There's a special fireproof material.
The flame retardant.
So like the,
Yes.
That would be,
yeah, for the gas department. That's what thank you.
All right, then is there a motion to pass the claims list? Anderson with the first, then McNeil with the second.
Booth?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
McNeil?
Yes.
All right, the claims list has been approved, and now moving on to the reports to be received and filed, which is a planning and zoning review of zoning change process in reference to the parcel at East 6th Street.
I'll follow up the conversation on this one. This is a matter that was brought to your attention here again this week. It was last council meeting you approved a minor subdivision of a parcel on East Street near 6th. And that parcel is, appears to be in a residentially zoned district. It may be split across a residentially zoned district and a commercially zoned district. The owner or contract buyer of the parcel had assumed that it was commercial and had planned to build a commercial building, has plans to build a commercial building. And the building inspector did issue a permit, but in conversation with Terry, couldn't substantiate that it was in a commercial district. So the process for, I'll come back to this right moment, the process for changing zoning on a given piece of property is spelled out in the Code of Ordinances, and that's attached in your packet. And normally you would anticipate that the owner would petition for a hearing to consider the change of zoning, and notice would be sent to all the neighbors, 200, so that everyone had the opportunity to opine on the prudence or lack of that change of zoning. I did tell the owner, given that this property appears to be right on the color line on the map, that we would review these ordinances and see if we can find where it specifically determines by meets and bounds or measured where that district ends and begins, so that he would know whether or not to proceed with a request for a change of zoning district from R1 to C1 commercial.
I guess when I purchased the property from the Gow families in 1988, I assumed that all that property was all commercial. In fact, wasn't suitable for building a house on there when I bought it, because it was, a creek ran through there, through a lot of things that I've done to make a better situation down there. Plus the city has gone and changed the waterway that used to come across through the bowling alley and put that all in tiling and made it more of a usable property. The drawing, when I found out that it was part commercial and part residential, and the property I was selling to Al Paustian, where he's put his stakes up, the property, he can only build on a certain part of that property due to the fact the city's easements was given to him for putting his stuff in, and where he's put his stakes in is based on the commercial part of it. The part that can't be used is on the residential part. It's really kind of messing with him because he's kind of wanting to build and trying to get an okay. In fact, to drop some rafters off down at the property today. But I told him, so we still have to wait a little bit, but I don't want to wait until October.
That's the situation as it stands, and I'm willing with staff to review zoning ordinances of the past so we can determine with clarity what the zoning is on that piece of property. And let him know.
And then just, if we can't come to a resolution tonight, we as a council, are we able to hold a special meeting? Because it sounds like, I don't want to impede on anybody wanting to build their building if indeed there is no issue. Yeah.
You can, but you're going to be more bound by the notice period. If it's not zoned, you're going to be more bound by the notice period required for a change of land use.
Okay.
Which requires notice in the paper and the 10 to 20 days time between, I can't remember the exact time, but it's either 7 to 14 or 10 to 20 days.
I think with zoning it's 10 to, like, I think it's 10 and 20.
Yeah. It's kind of what's in the paper, notice the neighbors, and the hearing gets conducted. So it'll impinge on us to, as quickly as possible, find whatever documents we can
Another
find.
thing, Tim, if you wanted to drive down where the property that's in question, the survey stakes are fresh. You can see them from the street without having to get out, and you can see the stake marks where Al's going to be putting his building. If that would help you, if you wanted to go down, take a look at it, and see if that meets your criterion for lifting up the residential part.
zone half commercial and half residential.
So if he's building on the commercial half, is that an issue?
Well, I'm not sure where he's building, because when I first looked at it, it looks like it's all residential. And there's no surer way to create a really big debate for yourselves than just waiving off the zoning requirement and then having a neighboring owner a real legitimate complaint. And that's, it isn't one's fault, it's just,
Well, I didn't get any measurements from the one corner close to Mr. Hakeman, where they start. I need to measure from there what part of that was residential and put something there so we could determine whether that his building area is going to be to the other one. Now, how I'm going to find that one out, but there should be something that determines why it's residential there. That lot should be X amount of feet wide, and so.
right, it will be set out in, it should be set out in by ordinance, specific to property lines, and meets bounds distances from some monument. And that's how use is established. It's, and it's not by building, it's by parcel. So your surveyor's job was to identify and stake out that parcel. It was not to determine what the zoning, the background zoning was. That,
If he
in the
probably
end,
would
that
have
is
known ahead of time, or did a little more research, we would hope we'd done a little more research,
exactly.
we probably would have gotten that.
Well, I will take it upon myself and whatever staff I can borrow to see what I can find for background work. So if it's already zoned commercial, then the question is answered. If it's not, you know what the solution is.
I guess when my problem with it was with Mr. Poston is, he wants to know when. You know, so I guess that, I don't know if he's filled out a building permit yet. He has?
For the
building.
building, yeah, there's a building permit applied for.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if he had done that yet or not.
I'm not sure sitting here right now.
Oh, you don't know if he has done one yet?
He's taken out, if he's applied for a building permit?
Right.
For that building on that parcel?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, he has, okay.
Yes, he has.
What do I need to do, talk to Mr. Cordick then to go ahead? So him and I can determine where that commercial and that residential property line is.
Well, it will be easier for me to go through city records. You can also go to the county and see if anyone has recorded any zoning changes or determinations for that parcel. They should be recorded at the county for that parcel. A surveyor may be able to find that fairly quickly, but that's one path. And found in rural counties in 2 states, people don't always record zoning changes. They get passed, approved, they wind up going to the city's file and not recorded at the county. So it may not be the only place to look. So I will look at the cities, and you might want to direct your surveyor or someone who's competent with property records to check the county's records to see if you can find something for that.
Is that something you can do?
I can't. I will look at the city's files. The rest I'm going to leave to you.
Okay. So I guess my process now is I need to get hold of my surveyor, have him see if he can designate the spot of that part. To me, it looks like it's half and half. It really
It
does.
still looks that way to me.
Uh,
And there's probably
as soon
case
as
law.
If he can prove that where he's building it's going to be on commercial, can Al go ahead and regardless what you as a
We would have
council,
to take it under consideration to see what case law says about a case where the property is this big and this much is commercial and this much is residential, whether that would be sufficient. But again, if you start just waving your zoning regulations off, then pretty soon they have no relevance. And that means that someone decides they want to build a chicken coop next to your house and raise chickens. You don't got a whole lot to say. I know it's a pain in the neck, but
let's say the bad part about when that was all zoned up, it was a Dow family. They lived in that house where Mr. Hakeman lives. And so all that was kind of all the family there. And probably what I'll do is, there's a residential part behind Mr. Higgins. We don't want to get into a subdivision like we just went through, so what I'll try to do is,
Right.
when I get this straightened out, we'll get it converted over to commercial, and there'll be commercial on the backside.
That would be the path.
That'd be the best way to do it, I think, from my
Yes.
position. So now, right now, so what do I tell Al?
I'm not sure. If I had answered that, we wouldn't be sitting here tonight.
Maybe wait 2 more weeks.
Excuse me?
Maybe wait 2 more weeks. And
2
hopefully
more weeks?
I will dig
Next
into,
council meeting.
we'll dig into it as soon as I can. I'd like to see it resolved as quick as you do.
Okay.
So, is there a motion to receive this review of zoning changes? McNeil with the first,
I'll second.
and Boots with the second.
Cleaver,
Yes.
McNeil,
Yes.
Boots,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes. All right, so that has been received and will be filed. And now to the discussion items, which is the placement of the Freedom Rock in the back.
This is information only. The Freedom Rock Committee met a week ago. And one of the things that we discussed, of course, was the Freedom Rock, which has been found. And I attached a picture for you to see. It's quite big. And one of the things we discussed, a couple of the things, since it is a Cedar County rock and not a Tipton rock, that we need to make sure that that's very clear. Because it's only Tipton right now that's on the committee. And we need to include other individuals in our county. And we're working on that. One of the things that we looked at, of course, was the green space by Among Friends. Another thing that we're going to be looking at too is the ground of the courthouse. And I talked to some supervisors about that. I'm only going to go to them as an information again, that people are just trying to line their ducks up correctly, that we know exactly where this rock's going to go for all of our Cedar County veterans, because it is a Cedar County rock. And there will be some fundraising with this too, and I know there'll be committee members at some point that will come to each city, as well as the county, different legions, VFW posts, to get this implemented. A guess, and a guess only on how much this rock, from start to finish, is going to cost is right probably at $20,000 or a little more. That is an educated guess. There is nothing that is written in stone. What is actually going to be. Oh, I love that I said that. No pun intended. And so anyway, did you see the photo? I hope that you were able to see the photo. So it gives you a clear idea. Okay, I'll just give this to you so you can see it, Leanne. So it's 10 foot in height. We got to make sure the ground can hold it, and I know that's one thing that someone had talked to Dean about by the green space, because that ground, and all of Tipton's ground, I think, is a little sandy. And so we just want to make sure that we can hold something that big, that it doesn't sink. And is like in 100 years. I mean, we would never see it, but the purpose of it is to be forever. So anyway, just information tonight. I just wanted you to know where we were at with that.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
And next up is the City of Tipton participation with SEDCO. Leanne?
We had touched on this a little bit at our last meeting. We got news, SEDCO received news that the Iowa State University is not going to partner with SEDCO anymore. So that contract employee at this point is kind of up in the air as to what's going to happen after June 30th. They also received news that the Iowa State Extension Office no longer wants to give office space to SEDCO. So that puts SEDCO out on the street right now. So the SEDCO board is looking to each city to find out if these changes take place, it is their intent to stay with SEDCO. And the reason they're looking for this, they've had 2 cities pull out already. Loudon and Durant have not been a member for at least a year or 2. Stanwood is heavily considering possibly not going with Sedco again because of these developments. So Sedco is worried if they have any other cities that feel like they're not wanting to be a part of it anymore, they're going to struggle a little bit financially to get their, to make their budget work. And so we don't have to take a vote or anything on it right now, but they want to know our intention. So that's why we need to discuss and see, some of the cities are saying they don't find value in what Sedco is doing. They don't see it happening for their city, and that's why they're pulling out. So that's the background.
All right.
So I just need to hear anybody's thoughts. We have a meeting on May 9th, and we have to determine if they're going to continue with Sedco and try to find a way to contract with the Sedco employees. Obviously, Sedco will have to do the full salaries. Right now, it's 80-20 with ISU, and Sedco would have to go 100% then. Otherwise, if there's not going to be the backing for Sedco, they have to figure out how to disband. So, and that's going to be probably a couple-month process to find out all the steps they have to take. So they're kind of needing direction.
Do you know of any dollar figures if other towns pull out and how much ours goes up? Our share?
No, they haven't gotten that far. We just kind of had an emergency meeting to give us the information that they come across. It's all, everything's still being processed at this point in time. We did get some information on the salaries that would have to be covered. So we had, at least an idea of what amount of funding they're going to have to continue those salaries and benefits and stuff like that. But that's the only thing they have initially.
Oh, okay. So, I think at one time Blue West Branch was well too.
They're still in it, but they haven't been active in the years, so there's,
Ours has always been the largest dues because we're the larger of the cities. So I don't know how they would do that.
and I know they did ask for, I believe that, was it 3%, is that normal on their dues?
No, but that
increase
increase.
this year, and they asked Cedar County for a 4% on their dues, so they increased it a little bit to try and cover for the cities that have dropped out, but they still had a deficit on their budget, so this year's budget's going to dip a little bit into their surplus funds, and that's the problem. If they lose any more cities, they're going to be looking at going into those surplus funds even more. So.
Okay.
My question was, if we don't have a Cedar County economic development, what happens when somebody wants to come into the county and bring their business? Who do they talk to? And somebody said, well, the cities. Okay, if it's down on interstate and what, they just talk to the closest city, or, I see the value in having somebody promote our county.
The single point person?
But then I also see the problem with only a couple of cities being a part of it. So.
All right.
Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, like you, I see the benefit in it, because there's one single voice out there promoting our county. But then, what's the cost benefit to that if our costs keep going up?
Grant's still in it.
No, Durant's been out of it. I know Clarence is in favor of staying with it. They have been getting some help from Sedco with doing, I think they were doing the downtown walkthrough like we did, and Sedco was helping them with that, and they've got some other projects that Rod has been helping them out with, so, I don't know, it's just a matter of what everybody wants to do.
Will there be another meeting where you guys actually come up with hard numbers to bring back to us?
Probably May 9th is when decisions will be made.
Okay.
We have a meeting before council, May 1st, and the next council meeting.
Okay.
And just so that all the cities could voice their decision or their thoughts on where we go from here. So that's kind of where I've been at. It's kind of in limbo, seeing, how much involvement the cities want with SEDCOM.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Leanne. Now, moving on to the reports, the mayor's report. Once again, this coming up Saturday is the bike ride with the mayor for Earth Day. It's $3 per child and what's it? 10?
$5 for a family,
Oh, $5 for a family.
or siblings.
Yes, and there'll be a lot more activities at the stops as well. It's not just a bike ride. There'll be activities at the courthouse, and then we eventually make our way out to the community garden as well. So it'll be fun. Hopefully those thunderstorms either blow through real early or hold off until later. So there you go. Council reports. Anything else? Committees? City manager? All right, department heads? You coming on?
I'm gonna come up.
All right.
You want me to come up?
Yes.
Just wanted to go over with you guys that we can no longer shoot fireworks at the park, so we need to find a new location. With Co-op's building going up and Cruz's addition going up in the back, that makes our safe distance too close to a building. We've looked at 2 different sites. One of them we have complete approval on. I texted Dave during the meeting to assure one of the things we need is to drill holes for the shells for the mortar rounds for the tubes to go into. And he was fine with that too, and that's out at the fairgrounds. And we just found out, Lynn and I just found out about this in the last couple of days, so just letting you guys know that we have approval for it unless you guys see anything drastically wrong with that. Okay?
Thanks for that,
Questions?
Scott.
Questions?
Yeah, you bet. All right. So then, seeing there are no more reports, is there a motion for adjournment? Boots with the first and Leaper with the second.
I know.
Yes. Well, adjourn.
Just leave it.
Yep.